Ladies and gentlemen, we are about to begin the greatest guitar stream of all time. Baby. Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready? Baby. Get ready in your seats. For the greatest guitar stream of all time. Let's get the party started. Let me corrupt you with electric guitars. I just realized that I've been on mute the whole time. So we might have to redo this segment of the stream, okay? If you were watching from the beginning, I'm really sorry. I just realized that everything has been on mute, so we're gonna have to do it again, unfortunately. Sorry guys, you gotta watch it again. So let me bring the music back to where it was. Hold on. We gotta start again. I'm gonna imagine the first imagine the first thing didn't happen, okay? I'm gonna start again. I'm gonna get my nasal spray. It's not really nasal spray, okay? It's nose beer. All right, we're gonna start again. Hold on. Go back. Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready to join the greatest electric guitar stream of all time? Baby. Ladies and gentlemen, is my mic mute? Not anymore. As we all know, nose beers are a guitarist's best friend. And some might disagree with it, and that's okay. That's okay. In fact, they're not only a guitarist's best friend, they're any artist's best friend. If you're an artist and you're not doing things to ruin your own life, you're making a big mistake. And there is no returning from that. So I've heard. Ah, baby. The nose beer is kicking in. Nose beer is kicking in! Oh, baby. Ladies! Gentlemen! What is happening? Tell me! What's happening? Good evening. Good morning. I don't know where you're from. Where are you watching this stream from? Tell me. I had my nose beer here. I'm going to do another nose beer. Let me go back. Hold on. Stop the music. Stop the music. Antoinette. Oh, there we go. There she did it. Okay. We're going to do another round of nose beers. We got to do nose beers again. Hold on a second. Let me get my nose beer ready. Hold on. Man, this nose beer spray is crazy. It's insane! Now I'm ready. Now I got my fix, okay? And again, if you're any kind of artist, not just guitar player, and you don't do nose beers, that's a problem. So we gotta do that. Bring the music back on. Who's there? Zuhair! What's happening, baby? Mic is fine. I hear you fine now, bro. But it was muted earlier on. Yes. We gotta do it again. I don't know. I might have overdosed on this whole nose beer thing. What is happening is I'm playing guitar now too. I might not stay for long today. Fair enough, man. That's a valid excuse. If you are not staying on the stream for long for playing guitar, that's a good thing. The whole point of this stream is to get everybody to play guitar, okay? So, good on you for that, man. Everybody, ladies, gentlemen, good evening. Good evening, good morning. I don't know where you're from or where you're watching the stream. We've got a crazy docket. And docket means topic of discussion, okay? We got a crazy docket today. We're gonna first talk about Tim Henson, Polyphia's Tim Henson, yes, joining Hans Zimmer on the score of the movie F1. We talked about this movie in another stream 3 or 4 weeks ago, if you remember. Then playing with the monsters. Then we're gonna talk about the comparison between the new PRS guitar, SE NF53, and Zuhair, I believe you got a nice custom 24 SE. I think it was orange or something. Yellow orange, don't you? We're going to talk about the comparison between the PRS SF and SE NF53 and the US made one. Then we are going to talk about a new guitar amp that is out that has touch screens on it. And then we are going to talk about the Moonburst Gibson guitar. And another guitar, another mystery guitar, I might add, that was revealed on Black Sabbath's last appearance. And it's amazing, okay? So it is indeed a packed docket. It really is. There's good stuff going on. So glad everybody's joining here on YouTube, on Twitch. Baby. Let's get started. Zuhair says, yeah, did you see mine? I did. Touchscreen on a guitar? There are guitars with touchscreen on them, but no, this one is an amp. Then I'll show it to you. So, with that being said, ladies and gents, shall we get the party started? I'm gonna play something a little mellow so that we don't get too distracted. Chat, tell me, Zuhair, I got you on there. Is the background music too loud? Is it distracting from the chit chat? Or no, is it good in volume? What does everybody think? Tell me, Twitch, talk to me. Where's my Twitch folks at? What's up? Tell me, Twitch, YouTube. How is the background music? Is it too loud? Before we started. Good? Yeah, okay. I like it. Twitch said good. And Zuhair says good. Perfect. Okay. In that case, ladies and gentlemen, let's get the party started. Come closer. Come closer. All right. So, on the first item on this docket, we are going to talk about Tim Henson joining forces with Hans Zimmer on the F1 movie score. Now, if you've been living under the rocks for some reason, Tim Henson is the lead guitarist and the lead guy for the band Polyphia. The man, really, I think it's safe to say, revolutionized how guitars played. Like the guy took like a lot of inspiration from hip hop and all that jazz, and then completely changed how the guitar is actually played. And it's insane. He is probably one of the most talented and skilled guitarists of our generation. Now, due to his talent and sheer musical skills, he was invited on joining forces with Hans Zimmer on F1. Hans Zimmer, in fact, invited him personally. And if you guys remember, by the way, we talked about the F1 music, Ed Sheeran's score. So Ed Sheeran had this new SE guitar out. PRS did this limited edition SE guitar for Ed Sheeran, the Ferrari red color one, if you guys remember. We talked about the F1 movie before, and we played some of the music. But Tim Henson, known for his work in the genre-bending instrumental band Polyphia, teamed up with cinema music producer Hans Zimmer. So the guy did Batman, Lion King, Pirates of the Caribbean. Not Caribbean, Pirates of the Caribbean. Who did this article? Like the middle verse. Guys, you gotta do a better job with your articles. Caribbean doesn't mean anything. Pirates of the Caribbean does. Okay? Like Johnny Depp, alright? And many more. By the way, he did Dune as well. On the F1 movie starring Brad Pitt, which premiered on June 27th. Okay? Now, Tim recently did an exclusive interview with Rolling Stones when he elaborated on how he landed the first major motion picture and how he laid down 40 plus minutes of guitar in the film. When asked if he'd be interested in working more in the film industry, Tim says, "Oh, absolutely." By the way, that's not how he said it. He said, "Oh, absolutely. I'm ready and hot to make more stuff in the film industry." Have you guys heard how Tim sounds like? He's a great guitar player. His vocal cords, I don't know about that so much, okay? It's like, "Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm ready and hot to make more stuff in the film industry. Hans is Lion King, The Dark Knight." All the incredibly iconic things from my childhood and adolescence. Listen, I love Tim Henson, but he kind of looks like an adolescent. How old is he? He's like 30s? He looks pretty young. It's like this half Asian gene really doing the thing, right? Working with the master, just such an incredible bucket list thing, and I have a taste for it now. I'm excited to dive into the pool of working in film. I gotta do more. I'm very excited for the future and what it holds. I would love to be more involved in the composing aspect as opposed to pulling up, and it's already a beautiful score. To me, Tim Henson looks like a futuristic AI robot, maybe from Fallout games, says Zuhair. Yeah, I agree. No, he is. Look, to be honest with you, he looks futuristic. Like, there's no question about it. To me, it's like he's the future of artists in a lot of ways. With the futuristic look, the tattoos, the looks, the earrings, slim guy, you know, half Asian. He's the modern guitar artist. Because the thing with the guitar is, and I'll tell you guys, you guys let me know if you agree with me or not. The thing with guitar, especially in our industry of metal and rock music, we are still stuck in the 80s. I'm not gonna lie to you. My cousin sent me a video on Instagram, shared me a reel on Instagram, literally I think 10-15 minutes before the stream started. Like, I was setting up the stream and everything, and I got it. And it's like this 8-year-old kid playing Metallica's One intro solo. And I texted him back, literally, I'm not kidding, like, I'm not lying to you guys, not exaggerating, 10 minutes, 15 minutes before the stream started. And I texted back, I'm like, isn't that strange that a kid that was born in 2015 is playing a song that was made in 1988? You know what I mean? Like, our industry is hooked on the 80s and the 90s because it was the golden age of rock and metal. I get that. But we're really still stuck there. Like, people that just started to play guitar still want to play Metallica, Slayer, Pantera. Like, you know what I mean? Smoke on the Water. You know, Purple Rain, Sweet Child of Mine. You know what I mean? Like, these are all 80s and 90s hits. Like, none of them don't have anything to do with 2025. So, considering that we're really stuck in the past in our genre for some reason, Tim is really like the modern guitar player. And it's not just his looks and all that persona, it's also like the way he plays the guitar. His music sounds very hip-hop like, very hip-hop inspired, very trap inspired. Zver says, strange but cool. Wow, from 2015. Feels like yesterday to me. Yeah. 2015 was 10 years ago. Literally a decade ago. Isn't that strange? Isn't that amazing? It's crazy. Like, I was listening to this record from 2003 and I'm like, my gosh, that's more than 20 years ago. Dorotio! Hello, what's happening, baby? It says, hi, Metal Maniacs, on vacation, but checking in too. So good of you to join. How are you, Dorotio? How's the vacation going? The thing is, like, Dorotio's living a good life, man. I'll tell you guys what. The other time Dorotio jumped on the call, he joined us from the Metallica Slayer concert. And now you're joining us from on vacation. Man, that's a good life. Take me with you. Teach me how to do that. I'm not guilt tripping you for being on holidays, dude. So good to see you. How you doing? I hope things are well. Hope the vacation's going well. And by the way, Dorothy, it's so good of you to let me know everyone's well. Because for those who don't know, there's like a lot of floods going on, crazy stuff going on in Texas, and I'm glad you and family are safe, pal. Anyways, going back to the article, Tim Henson also announced that the band is working on having their 5th album done by Halloween. Oh, ooh, okay. Saying it's heavier than everything we've ever done. That's interesting. Because these guys, the Polyphia guys, started with like gent style metal music. And then, you know, they made it a little bit more sort of mainstream. And that was sort of contributing to their success. But if it's going to be heavier, this is then likely to be a very like crazy speed metal technical kind of a record. So I'll be interested to see how that's going to go. Merxillis says, saw Tim's post, look up F1 score on YouTube. Now my entire feed is bombarded with Formula Car stuff, including the stream. The magic of algorithm, hey? The magic of algorithm, but Marcellus, can I say something? So good of you. So good to have you here. So good of you to join. Hope you're well, buddy. Hope you're well. What is Halloween? I only know the German metal band Halloween. Halloween is the thing that you put on a mask and try to scare everybody. And then when kids come to get some candy and chocolate from your doorstep, you refuse. That's what I've heard. I don't know. I don't know what Halloween is either. That's what I heard. So, if anybody knows more about Halloween, do let me know. Doroteo says, doing good with the fam. Seen Polyphia in 2022-23. Heck yeah. How are they live? I've never seen them live. I know what Halloween the festival is, duh. Isn't that a name of like a horror movie? Sounded like it's a company they will get their work done by. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, they're bringing that record out on Halloween, so that might have an influence on how they'll market the record. We'll see, because if it's like heavier than anything they've ever done, the Halloween thing might be actually like it's an actual decision. It's not by default. It's by design. Yeah, but. Talking about what Merzella said earlier on, the F1 film soundtrack has been trending across social media, gaining nearly 5 million views on YouTube, and millions more across other platforms in the last 2 weeks. And we kind of know that because we did play the Ed Sheeran song, didn't we? Timmy is becoming an influential name in the music now. Film industry even drawn attention from Metallica's Kirk Hammett in a recent interview with Rolling Stone, where he said, it's really unique. And in terms of techniques, it's amazing. But then it's the age-old question, how relatable is it? It's good to listen to like 3 or 4 times, but can you really relate? What do you guys think about this question? Everybody on stream. Kirk Hammett said, look, it's unique. Technically, it's really advanced. It's great. But then how relatable is it? Is it good to listen to like 3-4 times? And when you do it, can you really relate? What do you guys think about this? So, I saw this interview of Kirk Hammett. I think it was on Beato. And he was talking about quality of the riff, right? He was talking about more modern metal players. And one of the things that he critiqued the more modern guitar player with was the fact that there were so many unnecessary notes played in those, stuff that they post and the music that they post. And a lot of the music that they play sounds like practice music, like sweep picking, the minor shapes. Do you know what I mean? Doroteo says they're awesome. But we're talking about Polyphia because I asked the question, if you've seen Polyphia live. They're awesome, but when they play their older stuff from 2010, 2013, more neoclassical and 80s shred, I like it better than their newer stuff that is easily forgettable. My gosh, so you literally said you agree with Kirk Hammett here. So you just agree with the fact that their music is complex and it's not that relatable. Is that safe to say? That's so interesting. That's so interesting. Zuhair says, I remember hearing 1 or 2 Polyphia songs years ago, so I didn't check them out. Didn't check them out well, but it's not for me, not relatable for me. If I want guitar exercises, I will do guitar exercises separately. Yeah, no, I hear you on that, dude. You know what it's like? Here's my thing, and I've listened to more than a few Tim Henson shreds or Polyphia songs, right? Excuse me. For me, it's if you can't hum a solo, if you can't sing it with however amount of inaccuracy, right? I'm not talking about singing it in perfect pitch. But if you can't sing or hum a solo, you can't remember it. Right? I was listening to, guess what I was listening to? Guess what I was listening to? So I was listening to Metallica's The Unforgivable. Metallica's Unforgiven. The first Unforgiven, because they did 3 of them, right? Unforgiven 1 or 2, and then Unforgiven 3 in Death Magnetic. Yeah. So I was listening to The Unforgiven, and the solo was so good. And Kirk's solo is very pentatonic based, obviously, right? But that solo was so good. and I could sing it along as I was listening to it. And when you can listen, when you can sing a solo yourself, when you can hum it, that's when you know it's relatable, it's memorable. But if something is so fast, and the rhythm is so complex that, you know what I mean? It's harder to remember it. It's harder to memorize it. It's harder to sing it. It becomes harder to relate to. Yeah. Marcella said, Tim also made a collab with Ultraman soundtrack a year ago. So good. I haven't heard that one yet. I'll check it out. Let me put it down on a note. Hold on. Tim Henson with Ultraman. Okay. Soundtrack. That is now officially in my list of listen to stuff. So thanks for that. I'll check it out. It better be good. Don't give me. Hold on. Let me go to my look at me camera. Hold on. Marcellus, look at me. It better be good. Okay? It better be a good song. Says, bruh. Doroteo says, looks real impressive, but I can't really remember their new material compared to their earlier material. Seriously, I agree with you. I completely agree with you. If it's too complex, if there's so many notes going on there, it is a trip to listen to. Like when you listen to it on good headphones for the first time, all those notes and surprises in the songs and pannings and everything else. It's a great experience. There's no question about it. And it's impressive what that guy does, man. If you've ever touched the guitar, you kind of get an idea of how difficult it is what the guy does. And then when you actually try to play his stuff, it's really difficult. You know when it hit me? I tried to cover his song Blood Moon. It's not a song, it's like a 1.5 minute kind of a lick. It's like a little bit that he got on his YouTube channel. It's not easy. It's a difficult thing to play. It's not an intermediate or beginner thing at all. And so you'd appreciate the technicality and the intricacy of that even more when you actually try to play their stuff. Zuhair says, pentatonic but unique. Thank you. Zuhair is talking about my comment earlier when I said Kirk's solos are very pentatonic based. Pentatonic but unique. The legendary guys, that's Kirk, Joe Satriani, Andy Timmons, Eric Johnson, made gold out of pentatonics. Oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah. How many memorable solos does Kirk have? I mean, you just name it, man. I mean, the whole Black Album. Master of Puppets solos, people are still playing it. Unforgettable. Why do I say unforgettable? Unforgiven. The Unforgiven is another one. One is another one. Yeah, it's crazy, dude. You can make good stuff with pentatonics. There's no question about it. And Kirk does a great job switching from pentatonics to the Aeol, sort of this nice Aeolian vibe, and then go back to the pentatonic again and make it sometimes bluesy, flatten that fourth. So there we go. Give me my screen back. Tim Henson tells the story of how his tour manager was friends with Hans Zimmer's guitar tech. Oh, okay. And he gifted one of his signature nylon guitars to Hans along with his phone number and email. That's how you market yourself, folks. That's how you make relationships. You give people guitars with your contact. Marzella says the hardest part about playing Polyphia songs beside the difficulty level is the ability to play as clean as Tim. Heck yeah, preach. I can cover Polyphia playing God, yeah? But so many dead buzzing notes in between at that speed. Yeah, I agree with you. That was my experience too when I first started. Hans soon responded. So after Timmy gave him a guitar, After Timmy gave him a guitar, Hans responded with, "Dearest Tim, you know that I've been a humble fan of yours for ages." That's not how he said it. Let me tell you guys how he said it. He said it... Let me stop the music. Hold on. Because he's British. He said, "Dearest Tim, give me my cup of tea." Hold on. You're not British unless you have a cup of tea. "Dearest Tim, you know that I've been a humble fan of yours for ages. And I like to drop in D, but I've been a humble fan of yours for ages." That was Hans Zimmer, okay? You better like my impression of Hans Zimmer. When Tim went to LA, he met up with Zimmerman, who showed him the F1 soundtrack he was working on and invited him to help with the tracking for the movie. When asked about if it was hard for him to work on more simple guitar riffs than his usual music, Tim responded with, "It's really important to understand who you're making it for." So, when asked about if it was hard for him to work on more simple guitar riffs, that means Hans asked him to tone it down a little. That's my guess. He's like, "My guy, you got your own fans, I get it, but for the masses, like, tone it down a little. Let's not go at 500. It's really important to understand who you're making it for and what you're making. In this context, my job is to serve the movie." Good. In the context of Polyphia, my job is to just make crazy shit. Let's just make it crazy as F, and I don't care about anybody else's opinion about this because I'm trying to make it cool for me. Yeah, that's a healthy attitude as an artist, man. That allows you to, not be hostage to too many people and too many opinions and stay in your lane and do your thing. So yeah, that was Tim Henson's most recent interview with Rolling Stone. Can I tell you guys something though? What do you guys think about this guitar? What do you guys think about his guitar? Have you guys seen the pink one? So he had the silver one out, right? Let me move myself. So he had the silver one out. And then the next iteration of that was this sort of pink one. And for some reason, and I'm not a fan of pink, like as a color, like I like blue, as you probably can see, right? Blue, sort of like more man color, I guess, like old school men colors. But I really like the color of this thing. I've seen this guitar in person. Yeah, that's the first iteration of that out, and then the purple one was the new one. Let me move myself again. What do you guys think of the guitar? Has anyone ever played it? It's not a bad guitar to play. It's not for me, but it's not a bad guitar to play at all. Doroteo says, "Saw Dream Theater in Feb. They were incredible shows." Oh yeah, Petrucci throws down, man. The silver Ibanez is clean. It looks really good. And it plays pretty well too. It has a very comfortable neck. I really like the neck. The pickups are not for me, but I really like the neck on that guitar. Zohair says, "Pink isn't my color either, but it looks nice. I like the fretboard." Is that a floating whammy bridge? It is. It is a floating whammy bridge. It goes both up and down, but the nut is not a locking nut. It's a normal nut. So no dive bombing. A lot of vibrato, a lot of chopping, but no dive bombing. So if you want to play Pantera on it, do Dimebag stuff, no. It's no bueno. It is no bueno. But yeah, look, the thing is, what I noticed about this, and other like more modern guitars, like for example, Tosin Abasi did this collaboration with Kaizen, with Music Man called Kaizen that we talked about. That guitar and this Tim Henson guitar, one thing I noticed about the pickups, they're very responsive and they're very tight. Very, very, very tight. If you expect bloom out of these pickups, you're not going to get it. Like, you're not going to get like a Seymour Duncan 59 bloom out of these, if you know what I mean. You're not going to get a PRS pickup bloom out of these at all. They're very tight, and it makes perfect sense. They're specialty tools, right? If you think about who plays them and how many notes per second, you know, they play, you need something tight. So that makes perfect sense. I would have loved this guitar to have the same tightness in the bridge pickup, but then something a bit more bloomy, a bit more mids with a little bit more color on the neck side. Zuhair says, do you mean a defined sound for the pickups? No, defined sound, well, I mean, every pickup has a defined sound, right? What I'm talking about more is its frequency response and its responsiveness, right? When you hit a string and you play a note, it generates a frequency response, right? For some guitars, it's not as compressed and not as squeezed. For some guitars, it is, right? The more squeezed and compressed it is, the more tighter it is going to sound like in a lot of ways, right? So I'll give you this example. Let me draw this, can I? Okay, so can you guys see? Yeah, there we go. Okay, so what if I have this going on? So that's my... So this is frequency. This is loudness, right? And let's just say your normal humbucker has this kind of a frequency response. So it has a bit of a bump there, has a little bit of a bigger bump there, and then goes down here, right? Now, what if I designed a pickup that has kind of the same shape as this sort of like diagram, as that chart here, but it's a little more, it's like more narrow. It's like the same shape, but it's a little bit more narrowed down, a little bit more squeezed. And not only that, it is a little bit more like this. It's a little tighter. It's a little bit more compressed. Oh, that's not a good. Yeah. Right? That. You miss out a lot of other frequencies. And that's what I talk when I said, oh, it's missing some bloom. That's what I'm talking about. Because like, look how much like frequency and how much like sound is lost when you squeeze that frequency, when you compress that sound. And that's what I meant when I said the bloom is gone for those pickups. And you can play around with that, right? Thing is that when you play an amplifier, you put your guitar to an amplifier, and your amplifier got, bass, treble, mid knobs, and things of that nature, right? What that knob does, what those knobs do, rather, is not to change the frequency of the sound that they get from the guitar. So they're not going to change this diagram's shape. What they're going to do is that they're going to get a segment of this frequency response and make that bit louder, right? So I'm going to do this. Hold on. So let's just say this gets sent out to your amp. And let's just say this is the high end, this is the mid-range, and this is the low end, right? So high, mid, low. Okay? When you play around with the knobs on your amplifier, it doesn't change the shape of this. What it does, it just increases the loudness of this. So if I like increase the treble knob and bring it all the way to 10, it just brings this bit a little higher on this graph. Makes that louder. Doesn't change the frequency of the received signals. Doesn't change the quality of the received signal. It just makes bits of it louder. So, but with that being said, you can play around there, right? You can You can reduce the mids, increase the mids. You can play around with that to sort of add a little bit of bloom and a little bit more character to that. And obviously, like people like Tim or Tosin Abassi heavily use VSDs and digital stuff that change the sound completely. So, is it a general thing for all amps? Yeah. Almost a general thing for all amps. Like that's an amp thing, right? Now, obviously, every amp sort of adds a little bit of warmness, adds a little bit of, changes that signal a little. But you just have to understand that those knobs on the amps don't really change the signal much. What they do is that they change the loudness of the signal that they've received before they shoot it out. Obviously, not talking about distortion, right? Don't tell me, oh, well, you press on distortion and the thing completely changes. Yeah, I get that. But if you play it clean. That's the thing. Yeah. There we go. But yeah, it's really tight. So like I use the Kaizen guitar that I've got at home. I use that one for, when I want to play something really tight, like djenty stuff, like a lot of like galloping on the low E string. For that kind of stuff, it's perfect. It's superb. If I want to play something a little bit more melodic, not so much. I'd much rather to play with my N4s or any other guitar. Yeah. So there we go. That was the first item on the docket. Chat, how are we feeling? How are we feeling? We just went through the first item on the docket, and I think we did great. And I'm going to use the nose beer one more time. Sorry, guys. Give me a second. I caught cold. Okay. I'm a little sick, but I really wanted to do this stream. So let me do another round of nose beer. Nose beer is the best. It's the best friend for any guitarist, okay? Just saying. And don't sue me or anything, all right? This is a nasal spray, okay? A saline solution's in there, all right? Nothing else going on. Don't sue me. Don't report me to YouTube. All right, let us talk about the new PRS guitar, shall we? And I made a brief video about it, talking about sort of market dynamics so much. I didn't do so much of a review of the guitar and a comparison I really wanted to do. So let me stop the music for a second. Check this out. You guys remember this guitar from 2023? I'm not sure if people know it. I know Zuhair knows a lot of PRSs. He got a PRS guitar, so I suspect you would know it. I don't know about Marcellus, Dorotio, and others. So there was this NF53 guitar model that PRS produced in 2023. And this is basically PRS's take on the Telecaster, right? That is basically a PRS Telecaster. Then, a few days ago, they came up with this new model, the SE NF53, which is their more affordable NF53. It's made in Indonesia, right? That's the new model that they came out with. The thing that is so special about these pickups, and Zuhair, this answers your question if these are single coils. Sorry. The thing that is so special about them is the pickups. These are not single coil pickups. These are mini humbuckers, for lack of a better word. So NF stands for narrow field. The electromagnetic field that these pickups pick after you hit a string is more narrow from both sides. So more mid-focused, very mid-focused, in fact. So the idea behind these was to try to create single coil sounding humbuckers, basically. In other words, you want to have a single coil sound without the hum. Without the hum. And that's the idea behind these pickups. These are called narrow field pickups. That's why the name NF. And the 53 right? NF53. The 53 and NF53 is for the Telecaster model that they've modeled this guitar on. It's a Telecaster from 1953, a very early Telecaster. That's what they were that's what inspired this guitar, basically. So NF53 came out 2023, and it, reviews are good. The reviews are not bad at all. It seems to be a decent guitar. I haven't personally played with this guitar myself yet, right? It comes in with some really beautiful colors. This is my absolute favorite, by the way. Check this out. It's called White Dog Hair. And it has the sort of the smoke burst white dog hair as well. But this is beautiful, right? Anyways, so they had this guitar going on, and a few days ago, they released the SE version, the more affordable version, which is made in Surabaya, Indonesia, right? And we talked about this in another video. It is a very mid-heavy electric guitar, so you don't get the brighter sounds of Telecasters, the twang of a Telecaster out of these guitars at all. It's very mid-heavy. But the thing that is so interesting about this guitar, to me, the thing that really stood out, was the fact that the features on these two guitars are identical except from the pickup. If I'm not, like, exactly the same, one for one, except from the pickup. I made a video about it, guys, in more detail. If you want to check it out, I'll show you. Hold on. If I go to my, this is the guitar. This is the video that I talked about. So you can check that out if you want. And about a few hours ago, I did this video about Nuno's guitar as well. By the way, if you like Nuno, fan of Nuno's, you'd probably find that video interesting too. But I did that comparison for NF53 in that video. If you want to check it out, bottom line is it's a very mid-heavy guitar. Very mid-heavy. It's a specialty tool as well. Now, when you compare the specifications, so this is the Indonesian, this is the US made. They are exactly the same body and neck constructions. There might be a difference, like Sorenzo's body wood is swamp ash and here's the swamp ash. It might be different grades of tone wood, for sure. But it's not like that the tonal quality is going to be that crazily different. And the tone wood is not going to have the massive, like the biggest of all impacts when it comes to the output sound anyways, right? So 22 frets, 25 and a half, maple scarf joint, exactly the same here, right? Neck shape is a little different. So you got the NF53 neck shape in the Indonesian one. In the US one, you have the pattern 53. Everything else, again, is the same, all the way to just the pickups. The electronics is the US made pickups for the US made guitar, and the Indonesian one for the Indonesian made. And that was really interesting to me, because you basically are getting an Indonesian made guitar kind of in the same price range as the Mexican made Telecaster, so $800, $900 US dollars. But it's so close to the US made one. So close in its features. It's just insane. Like this one, let me check it on Sweetwater. Hold on. I think the US made one right now is around $3,000. PRS NF53. And let me bring the music back on. So $980 for the Indonesian made, and $2,700, $2,800, $2,900, so almost $3,000, yeah, for the US made. A third of the price. Zuhair says lost internet for a minute. What's the cost of the PRS? Yeah, so $980 for the Indonesian made, which is kind of similar to a Mexican made Fender Telecaster, and then $2,900 for the White Dog Hair US made, $2,700 for the Matcha Green. So $2,900 versus $980. It's like a third. And my thing is, and this is where like when it comes to the pricing of the guitars, it doesn't necessarily follow the cost of building it or things of that nature, right? The pricing of this guitar for $980 is to really make it competitive with, guitars such as the Fender Tele. Like if I go to Fender Telecaster Player 2, see that? That's sort of the same guitar in the same range. So it was $945 where the price drop is $900, but $945 is what it retails, right? That's the street value. And this guitar basically is a competitor in that space. Right? Despite the fact that it's $980 though, literally the features when you go one by one is almost identical. There's 3 things that are different. 2 things that are different. One may be different. The first one is the neck. The neck is slightly different. Both have really chunky and thick necks, by the way. Both of these guitars have really old school style thicky neck, kind of a vibe. Number 2, the pickups obviously is different. And number 3, the nitro finish on the US made one and the Indonesian one doesn't have a nitro finish. That's really the main 3 differences. Yeah. Which is insanity, right? Like these 2 guitars are very similar otherwise. And considering the fact that, you put them through amp and you can EQ and you can play around with things, this is insane. Zuhair says, I'm personally so glad the Player 2 series have 22 frets. All of them. Yeah. Yeah, you talked about changing the necks on guitars last week to me. You did ask a question about it. Are you trying to change the neck on any of your guitars? Versus too thick of a neck isn't preferable for me. Not for me either. I like thinner necks. It's just so much easier to play, and it strains my hand a lot less when I play for longer hours. I like thinner necks. Me too. Me too. But yeah, that's that new guitar. So if you guys haven't checked it out, I recommend you guys to check it out. It's a very interesting one. Like, you might not like it. It might not be your cup of tea. But it's really new in a sense that it's very, very mid-heavy. Like, this guitar was built to have strong mids. And I found it really interesting. The tone is really interesting in that guitar. Zuhair says no, but thought if I get a 21 fret guitar, that will be an option. Interesting. So tell me, what about 24 fret guitars? Are you a fan of those? What is it about 22 that attracts you a lot? Is it the resonance on the 24th fret falling on the neck pickup? Is it that? Or is it just the number of frets, so 24 is actually better for you? What does everybody think, chat? Tell me. So what pickup, guitar frettage is a word now, do you prefer? Do you prefer 24, 22, or 21 fret guitars? Don't say 18 or like 17. I don't think we have those, okay? Don't throw in random numbers. But what do we think? Keen to know your thoughts on this. So I personally like 24 and 22 fretted guitars. I'm not a fan of 21 fretted guitars. And that's only because some of the solos that I play go all the way down to the 24th fret and still have a bend too, so you go to higher notes. Of course, most of the music I play uses 22nd fret and sometimes a 24th. Glam metal solos, hard rock solos. Okay, so it's really a matter of access to higher notes is really it. Because the thing is, you know how you have, and I don't know the science of this at all, so you guys, more than happy to learn from you here. You let me know your thoughts and if you know anything about it. You know how you have a different kind of resonance when you go an octave higher on an open string? So your 12th fret and then your 24th fret. That's why when we do harmonics on the 12th frets, they work really well, right? And one thing that I've heard this rumor. I don't know how true it is. One reason a lot of players prefer 22 fretted guitars is because the 24th fret where it's supposed to be falls on the neck pickup, and they get a better and a stronger sound out of that guitar when it comes to the resonance of the notes. That's a rumor I've heard. I don't know how true it is, and I don't know the science behind it, if any. If you guys know anything about it, do let me know. But yeah, I don't know anything about that. But yeah, 22, 24 frets for me because of higher notes, you know. And it's only like, can I tell you something though? Like the difference between the 21 fretted guitar and the 24 fretted guitar is just 3 notes, right? It's literally just 3 notes. But it's just the fact that you've got a favorite solo you want to play, and now you can't, and that's annoying. That's my biggest issue. I don't even care, like, you know what I mean? It's not even something that I'm like, oh my god, I'm missing out on 3 notes, that's whatever. My instrument is incomplete. It's not that. It's like, I want to play some solo that I like, and I pick up, like, for example, that Telecaster there, and I'm like, no, the note is not there, and I get frustrated. That's my only beef with 21 fretted guitars. Yeah. Zwerz has no idea on that either. Not 3 notes, 18 notes for 6 strings. No, not, well, yeah, yeah, you're right, but that, you know, you're being that way about it now. No, because it's only the 3 note at the higher end, right? The 3 notes that you miss on strings 6, 5, 4, and 3, and 2, you can find those notes in the next string, right? So the notes are there. Yeah, it might not be on the same string. The notes are there. The tonal range of your instrument still is not different in 16 notes, like an octave and a half. It's only like 3 notes at the higher end. Imagine having a guitar missing 16 notes, though. That guitar should... Oh, that sucks. Imagine. And not just that. Like, it's not even, like, missing... Imagine having a guitar that has 16 or 18 notes less than a classical guitar player's guitar. Like, that'll be horrifying. I can't sleep at night. If that was the case, I don't know if... We should imprison a luthier. Any luthier. Throw him into jail. If they make a guitar, electric guitar, that has less notes than a classical guitar. That's unforgivable, I think. We should throw him in jail. Send him to Timbuktu. Do horrible things, okay? Whatever horrible things comes to your mind. We're gonna do that to him. Okay? Is Timbuktu a country? I just something came to my mind. I don't even know. Let me just Google before I embarrass myself even more. Dorotio says, I like 24 fret axes. Yeah, me too. Yeah, I hear you on that, man. Like, you got the notes. Like, it's there. Okay, what's Timbuktu? Hold on. Timbuktu. Timbuktu is not a country. It's a city. Timbuktu is an ancient city in Mali, situated 20 kilometers north of Niger River. Okay, it's the capital of Timbuktu region. Okay, so it's a city in Mali. All right, now we know. If you make classical guitars that have more notes than our guitars, that's where you go. Let's make this abundantly clear right there. All right, shall we talk about the next item on the docket? There's this amp that came out with touch screen, and I thought you guys might be interested in that. Not buying it, but just knowing about it, because it's inevitable. Like, so right now, we do have some guitars with some fancy gadgets on them that do have a touch screen, you know. But this amp that we're going to talk about got a touch screen on it, and I'm like, that's inevitable. Before we get to that, Zuhair asked, did you ever play any Squire Jaguar? It's noticeably shorter in scale length. No, I've never played a Jaguar in my life before. Not Squire, any Jaguar shape. I've never played any Jaguar shape in my life before. To be fully honest with you, I was never into that shape of guitar. And it's a great shape. It's like, there's this guitar brand called Aristides that did something, it's like a modern iteration of that, for one of the guitar players. I don't remember who he was. And I really like that. But no, I've never played any Jaguar guitars before. Zora says, hey, check your IG messages. I follow you there. Oh, thanks, dude. May message later. Okay, sounds good. Message me on Instagram. I haven't checked my IG messages today, so my apologies if you sent something. I'll check it after the stream. Yeah. Okay, let me go here. Let's talk about that guitar amp, shall we? You guys familiar with the brand Moore? Moore guitars? Moore guitar. Moore audio. So that is the company, and it's a Chinese company if I'm not mistaken, and they do you know, effects and guitars and all that jazz. In fact, not that far from my home, we have a Moore dealer. The guy only has Moore guitars. And first of all, I found it a little weird, like the name Moore. Every time I hear Moore, I'm like, oh, McDonald had a farm, oh, like that. That's the kind of vibe I get from it. You know, but yeah, that's the thing. But anyways, they came up with this new amp that got a touch screen on it, which is really interesting. Sounds like a boutique brand. It's not, believe it or not. Moores are not boutique. They're like, let me see if Sweetwater got it. Hold on. Moore. They called Moore because they moo. Give me a second. Let me see if I can find it. Hold on. Moore guitars. Where are we? Touchscreen? Jim! How are you, Jim? Touchscreen. Yes, that amp got a touchscreen on it. No, dude. Dorothea, these are like really like more on the more affordable side. They're not a boutique brand at all. It's a Chinese-made brand, basically. Yeah. So no, I don't. They're not a boutique brand at all. I don't remember playing with them. I've seen them in the local store, but no, I haven't played with them. But yeah, that's the amp. Jim says, I play my guitars through an amp to escape cell phones. Yeah, that's what I do too. I don't do it to escape cell phones. Like I do it to not have to have my computer screen on the whole time, because sometimes I'm like, man, I'm looking at the screen too much, for God's sake. And I just like, you know, turn on the amp on and I turn my seat away, my chair away, so I don't have to look at the screen. I know what you're talking about. I know the feeling. Zuhair says, what boutique means small but specialized? Small, specialized, high quality, and expensive. I think these four do that. do a thing. Define it really well. Jim says, haven't seen Moore in the colonies. Yeah, it's a Chinese brand. And I don't know how their distribution works. Like, they're not really well known. But what they're doing with this whole little portable amp thing is grabbing some attention. The thing is, to be honest with you guys, this whole like touch screen thingy is inevitable. I'm surprised it hasn't happened earlier. Like, I think the only reason it hasn't happened yet is because a lot of guitar players like the old school stuff. And we talked about it like right early on the stream, right? You know how we talked about if you play rock and metal, you still play Metallica, Slayer, Anthrax, Guns N' Roses, Tool, you know what I mean? Like all the 80s and 90s tunes. We're still there. Like, if you guys, I don't know, Jim, Dorothea, I don't know if you guys were there from like right at the beginning when I told Zuhair this, but literally 10-15 minutes before I, went live, my cousin, who lives in California, sent me a text, and he shared a reel with me, and I was like, oh, okay, what is it? I check it out. It's this like 9-year-old kid that is playing Metallica's One's intro solo, and I'm like, a 10-year-old kid. One came out in 1988. 1988, right? It's like 30 years ago, and a 10-year-old kid's still playing it. You don't see that in pop or hip-hop music. It's very rock and metal thing. It's very electric guitar thing, right? So one of the reasons we're not seeing more of these kind of stuff, like amps with touch screens and electric guitars with touch screens and things of that nature, is because we are so still into the 80s and 90s stuff. We really are. You don't see it anywhere else. But it's inevitable, is what I'm trying to say. Like, amps with touch screen only. Like, this one still has some knobs on it. Touch screens only. There's going to be some AI stuff coming out, like amps with resident AI model in it, like an AI thing in it, that can get your plastic electric guitar and make it sound like Kirk Hammett's, Peter Greeny's guitar. It won't be long now. And I'm surprised that we're not there yet. Because we have like VSTs and everything else on computers, right? All you got to do is to put it in an amp, and you don't need that much like computing power. It's not unachievable right now. It just hasn't happened. I really think predominantly because the customer base is still likes the tube amps and things done in the old school way and pedal boards and things of that nature. I really think that. But won't be long now when the next generation, the Gen Z guys and the ones after, they grow up a little more and they start to have some purchasing power. Then you're going to see a lot of amps with resident AI models in them. They're only touch screen, and they sound just like your like expensive Mesa Boogie. Like crazy stuff, yeah. Zoyer says, you got to be careful with less known brands. I tried some guitar brands from Amazon, West Creek, and Donor. Definitely make good guitars for $200. You got to be careful with less known brands. I totally agree with you. That is why my recommendation always is to everybody, do not buy guitars online if you can. Like, go and play. And by the way, Amazon guitars, more affordable stuff, that one is like unavoidable. Like that's online, right? But if you can, go to a store. And it doesn't matter what store, big or small. I'm not even going down that road, right? Just go to a store because you get to hold the guitar. You get to feel the guitar and hear the guitar. And the tactile feeling is also as equally as important. The best guitar decisions are always made when you're actually holding the guitar. So as fun as online purchasing is and as convenient as it is to order things online, I'm a firm believer that you gotta actually go to the store so that you can make a better decision for yourself. Not even support local business. No, I'm not even talking about that. Not even like, keep things old school. No, none of those. For the sake of you getting a better purchase, like a better guitar. Jim says, I'm an old guy. I started on tube valve amps, seen digital racks, now touchscreen. It always goes back to my vintage AC30s. Marshalls, heck yeah. Marshalls sound great. Can I tell you a funny story about, Jim, Nuno Betancourt, right? Nuno came out with this is like a long time ago. It was on the news, I think. Nuno came out with this new Randall amp. So Randall and Nuno did this collab, and he had a signature amp. And he took it on tour, one of the like tours some years ago, and the first Randall amp blew up, and then the tech came in, plugged the second amp in. He blew that one up as well. And then the tech went on and borrowed the amp of the supporting act. It's a Marshall. And he brought the Marshall in, slowly put it up there and plugged it in. And everybody agreed that the second half of the show sounded better. And the Marshall didn't blow up. High quality amps. Marshalls are great. I used to have a Marshall. Loved it. Absolutely adored it. Jim says, hashtag caveman. No, man, not caveman. It's good sound. High quality sound. Would you, and Jim, you can answer this question, right? If I gave you a digital amp that sounded exactly like your AC30s or your favorite Marshall, it sounded exactly like it, but it had it had a remote, for example. It had the knobs that you wanted, but it had some features like remotes. It had other features like maybe lights, whatever you like on an amp. Would you take that amp over the old Marshalls? And I would suspect a lot of people would. It's about the sound and the feel, and the sound and the feel is there, and now you got some extra stuff on top of it. Jim says worst guitar decisions involve alcohol. Got a story behind that, pal? Like, worst guitar decisions involve... Listen, a lot of bad decisions involve alcohol, all right? What have you done? Jim, what did you do on alcohol with the guitar? Yeah, they do, though. Like, for fairness, it does. Did you, like, buy, like, a really expensive guitar drunk? Like, that was your drunk late night purchase? Was it that? Or did you just, like, throw a guitar outside of it? Like from a moving car, just like you're driving on the freeway and you decide to throw your guitar out the window. What did you do there? More than once. I'm sitting here with 60 plus guitars. There we go. So that was a drunk late night purchase at all. How do you manage 60 guitars, pal? I've got 11 and I didn't buy all of them. Like, sponsors gave me a couple. How did you manage all of those? Because I'm having a hard time managing these. I'm reducing down my collection size. Like, if you want to call 11 guitars collection. Having dollars on a phone equals crazy. That's good, man. That's so good. I'm glad you're doing things you love, though. Semi-retired session musician. Right. That's good. You know, have a couple of shots of scotch late at night. Start browsing Reverb. And then next thing you know, a week later, a couple of packages arrive. And tell you what, do you guys notice? Do you guys, and for those of you who are inspiring to buy a few more guitars, let me tell you something from experience, okay? I've got 11 at home. Obviously, I'm not Jim. Jim has 60 plus sitting at home, so I'm still not there yet. Give me a few more years. But I'll tell you guys something. If you think your wife and girlfriends mind this many guitars, they usually don't if the bills are paid and you're in a good financial situation. What they do mind is guitar cases. If you figure a way out, like figure something out, that, you know, you have a lot of guitars, but the cases are out of the way or hidden, or if it's a soft case that's folded somewhere nice and neat in the closet, you'll be okay. Promise you that. It's always a guitar case issue. Jim says CBS and other labels. Gotta act surprised when the UPS arrives. Yeah. What's that guitar? What's that package? Rather. Your wife's a musician too, so she gets it. Oh, God bless. Okay, that's good. That's good then. You're all right. You're fine. That's so good. Do you guys jam together? Like, is it a thing? Home Alone face. Does she also play guitars, or does she like play piano or violin? Zuhair says, don't wives or girlfriends mind noise though? I heard from a couple of guys by now. I don't think I'll get married. No, they don't. Mine doesn't. And by the way, you got headphones, right? You can always connect your amp through a headphone and play. And I don't think I'll get married. That's fair enough, dude. You have to, you know, the thing with marriage is that a good partner, a good person in your life adds a lot of value, incredible value. It's not even parallel to anything else in life, in my experience. But then you can also have like all the money in the world and you end up with the wrong person and that ruins your life. Like y'all remember Johnny Depp and Amber Heard? You guys saw how the whole thing went down the drains like crazy, because all of that, like the whole court thing was televised, right? It was like streamed on this Law and Order YouTube thingy I saw it from. Like, you can't have all the money and all the fame and everything in the world. You end up with the wrong person, you are done, my man. You're screwed. Amber Heard, yeah. So, for those who don't know, in that court case, it turned out that Amber Heard, the ex-wife of Johnny Depp at the time, to mess with him, decided to poop on his bed for some random reason. And therefore, Amber Heard changed to Amber Turd from that point on. So you got to choose your wife wisely. I agree. Jim says, yeah, play oboe, sax. Ah, right. Okay. And guitar. Right. So if you guys jamming, you'd probably be jamming a lot of more like jazz, bluegrass, pop kind of vibes, I guess. Nice. That's great. Oboe is an interesting instrument. The first time I ever saw an oboe was on a live show, Bela Fleck and Flecktones. They had an oboe player on that band, and that was crazy. You're rockers. Met my wife in school band, 7th grade, 1976. God bless you guys. Oh, that's beautiful. That's so beautiful. Buy your wife anything she wants and then buy guitars. I'll give you guys a piece of advice, and I'm sure Jim would agree with me. Like, Jim, out of all of us, has the most experience in it, living with somebody else. Like, here's the thing. When your wife is upset with you, let me stop the music here. I need you guys to really absorb what I'm about to say. Hold on. Let me go to my look at me view here. Are we? Nope, that's a share screen. Sorry. Hold on. Look at me. There we go. We're at the look at me view now. I'm going to give you guys the tip of a lifetime. Okay? You do this right, your life's going to be blessed forever. Okay? So hear it out. When your wife gets upset with you, because it happens a lot, like you got a wife, you got a girlfriend, and there are times when they get really upset, right? When they get upset with you, buy a new electric guitar. Now, she's still going to be upset when you do that, but at least now you got a new guitar. And that's the win. If you think about it, that's the win. So whenever she's upset, just buy a guitar. She's still going to be upset, but at least you get to have a new guitar. And I think that's, I don't know, like, if there's any advice better than that ever existed. Amen. Every 28 days and they get cranky. God bless. Every 28 days, a new guitar. And that's how you end up with 60 plus guitars in at home. Yeah, like, that's exactly right. Remember, look surprised when it arrives. Yes. A UPS package comes in, a reverb package arrives. Just look surprised. Like, Zuhair says, I think that's clever. That's a good time to buy a guitar because, yeah, that's exactly right. Like when she gets really upset, that's when you know where the bottom is. Okay? And it can't get any lower than that. So do not make your wives upset, folks. Wives are great. Love more, okay? We're joking around here. If one of the ladies are watching, we love you. We're together in this, okay? But yeah, like when you find out where the bottom is, it can't get any lower, so you might as well just do what you want to do, and that's a good thing. What's she's gonna do? Be cranky? Yeah, exactly. She's gonna do nothing. That UPS package is gonna arrive. No one's gonna do nothing. There's nothing that can stop that UPS package. I'm just gonna put it out there. I just hope the wives are not watching the stream right now. Otherwise, ay. My goodness. We really are solving marriage problems here, aren't we? This was supposed to be a guitar stream. I think we're doing a lot more than that. Ay. Okay. Why? Well, mine is asleep. Fair enough. Okay, that's good. We're safe. Mine is... I don't know where's mine. Mine is... Yeah, I don't know. Could be asleep, actually. Yeah. Or watching this. And that's when I know my rare end is toast. Saving lives. But yeah, man, this is the thing. Going back to that amp. This whole amp thingy. I'd be really keen to see how, like, things, like, products like there's gonna sound like. You're in trouble. Yeah. Johnny Bean says, hey, everyone. Hey, Johnny, how are you? Happy Saturday. Happy Sunday. How you doing? You know, I'm in trouble, like, because a lot of times my wife watches the stream, and I don't know. I don't know whether I should just give out all of our secrets like this, right? I don't know if that's a good idea. Johnny, you just joined the stream. Let me bring you up to speed. I gave everybody this really crazy advice that it's a marriage advice. That if your wife's upset, buy a new guitar. She's still gonna be upset, but at least you have a new guitar. That was the relationship advice that I was giving everybody, and that really took a different turn and things got out of hand. But yeah, that's the thing, man. Like I said it earlier, when it comes to like having a lot of guitars, and I've got a few, I'm obviously, I'm no Jim here, but the thing is, it's really, honestly, it's just about the cases. For some reason, I figured that it's never about the number of the guitars. Yeah. Zuhair says, also, when they get upset, you can speak your mind honestly and freely. Yeah, that's going to work great. Here's the thing, right? When your wives get upset, just tell them that they should calm down and they're overreacting. They'll understand exactly what you mean, and they'll immediately realize that, you know, they should settle things. You know, they should they should tone it down a little. It's going to work, guys. Try it at home. Try it. Hold on. Let me get my... Just tell her to calm down. And she's overreacting, and she's gonna understand. It's gonna work. Johnny says, I have around 50 guitars. Yeah, bang. Okay, we got some serious guitar collectors here. That Zuhair says, tell a woman to calm down when she's mad. That doesn't work. That works. And you should try it. You really should. Try it. It's going to work great. And you'll live happily ever after. Yeah, Johnny's got around 50. Jim has around 60 plus. I was feeling bad having 11, and now I'm like, I got to lift my game up. This is a problem. How do you guys maintain that? That's hats off to you guys for having it, by the way. So I love it when people are passionate about it and unapologetically do what they do. That's an inspiration to me. But like when it comes to moving houses, if I ever want to move houses or maintaining them, dusting them, picking it up and play, changing the strings, setting them up. Yeah, buy strings bulk. That's what I started to do. There was no other way. There was no other way. So tell me, what's your like favorite, like top favorite axe out of the 60 plus you've got, Jim, or out of the 50 you've got, Johnny? What's your favorite axe? Zuhair, tell me, what's yours? What is your favorite axe? I'd be keen to know, to see like what kind of taste we got here. And talking about it, by the way, let me tell you something. Speaking of guitars, did you guys see this? Jim says my Brian May Red Special. Gosh, okay. Zuhair says my Gibson Flying V. Nice. Jim got 3 Brian May Red Specials. Nice. Okay. Gibson Flying V. Is that a black one? Or is it the which one is it, the black and white one? But volume knob crackles sometimes, so I gotta get that checked. Yeah, do it. I don't think it's gonna be, that one's not gonna be that hard to fix, dude. It rarely cuts out. Shouldn't be that hard to fix. In fact, if you know how to solder and you know how to, deal with guitars, you can buy a like a volume knob and a pot from StewMag for like not that much. Jim says, I was a Dean artist since 78. What? Really? That's insane. Okay. Spray deoxit in it? It could be, yeah. Jim's right, Zuhair. It could be that inside of that is a bit oxidized. Yeah. And it works not only for that, by the way. If your pickup selector is also having some issues and buzz, you can try deoxit. Jim is 100% right. Okay, shall we talk about this guitar? What do you guys think? The Moonburst. Have you guys seen this? I'm not sure if you guys followed this. So, Black Sabbath had this their last appearance. Not latest. Black Sabbath's last appearance in Birmingham, England was on July 5th. So 7 days ago. And I think it was called Back to the Beginning. Yes, Back to the Beginning was the name of that appearance. And Metallica was there to honor them. A bunch of super groups were there. The guy from Ghost was there. Tool was there. Slayer was there. You name it. Axl Rose was there. Slash was there. Tom Morello was there. It's insane. It was an insane live show. If you haven't seen it, check it out. It was great. But Metallica was there. And the CEO of Gibson made this SG for Kirk Hammett. Yeah, Zuhair is like, yeah, that SG looks good. It does. It's called the Moonburst. That's the color. But this was made specifically for that occasion. Jim's like, looks more like Poo Burst. Okay, you don't like it? Poo Burst? Jim, Poo Burst should look more like brown. No? Like... Poo Burst should be more like brown, no? Like brown with either whites like surrounding or black. Now I need to Google it. We gotta Google this. Hold on a second. Guitar, electric guitar, Poo Burst. How's it gonna look like? I wonder. No. It doesn't have anything. I mean, if you think about it, like, this is a Poo Burst guitar, no? That looks like... and the guitar looks like crap, too. It's a 1984 Special SG. What color is this? Poo Burst. Now we know. See, these ones are like just poop. There's no burst, right? Because you don't get that smoky thing around it. This looks like, I don't even know. This is like more of a diarrhea burst, I guess. That looks horrible. My gosh, what they've did they like save this guitar out of a burning building? What happened with this guitar? Custom Tommy Homeo, like boy. It's probably crazy expensive guitar. But no, now we know Poo Burst is a thing. So thanks, Jim. Now every time I see a brown smoke burst guitar, yeah, it really changed that experience forever for me, didn't you? Yeah. So anyways, we're talking about the burst. I think the burst bit is the bit we can all agree on. You're welcome. I gotta focus now. Talking about the burst, right? It is a guitar that what's his face? Caesar Guaycan made for Kirk. So Caesar Guaycan is the CEO of Gibson, for those who don't know. And the guy knows how to build a guitar, and so he builds these really special guitars at special occasions for certain people. And when you look at the truss rod cover, it says CEO with a number on it, which sort of indicates the number of guitars that the guys made for people. Like that's how they code it, which is supposedly the highest honor, with Gibson. Like that's they really like putting the attention into it, kind of a deal. So, during last weekend's highly anticipated Back to the Beginning special, so Black Sabbath's last show, Metallica's Kirk Hammett dropped Jaws, not just with his shredding, but with a mysterious and utterly gorgeous Moonburst, aka Poo Burst, Gibson SG. This isn't just any custom shop guitar, its surprising origin has now been revealed. Was personally crafted by Gibson CEO Caesar Guaycan. Now, this unique instrument, dubbed the CEO4, heading to auction for a worthy cost. It's heading to auction for a charity, by the way. And that's the Moonburst Gibson SG. Silver, lunar-spired, flame top, powerful, thin humbuckers. And it was used exclusively for Metallica's cover of Black Sabbath's Hole in the Sky. Therefore, the Moonburst. Isn't that crazy? Like, they're like, all right, we're going to cover this particular song. It's called Hole in the Sky. Make something that looks like moon for me. Isn't that insane? And the CEO says, yes, you got to do it. That's Kirk Hammett. You don't say no to Kirk. Kirk Hammett asks you for a guitar, you do it. Anyway, so while the Moonburst Gibson briefly graced Hammett's hands, its journey is far from over. This extraordinary electric guitar is already making its way to an auction house, with every penny from its sale dedicated to Gibson Gives. So Gibson Gives is this Gibson charity initiative. Since 2002, this incredible charity has been amplifying the power of music through various initiatives, raising over $4.5 million to date. Yeah, and that's Caesar, by the way. I think he's Armenian, Caesar Guaycan. I'm 98% sure he's of Armenian origins, like the System of a Down guys, like Serge, or like Kim Kardashian, I guess. So he's the Kim Kardashian of electric guitars. How about that? Kim Kardashian of luthiers. And this is the CEO series. Oh, there we go. That's what I told you guys about earlier. See the truss rod cover? Each guitar in Caesar Guaycan CEO series is a custom built and then auctioned off for charity. All his builds are special, but the CEO forced connections to Kirk Hammett, and its appearance during such a landmark heavy metal event makes it perhaps the most notable one to date. Yeah, that's the one. And I really dig the inlays, by the way. Look at that, the inlay. Check this out. Did you guys notice it? It doesn't show here really well. But look at the inlay. I really dig that. Yeah. And this isn't the only charitable music gear from back to the beginning. Gibson also auctioned off signed ebony and cherry red SG standards, autographed by legends like Tommy, collectively raising approximately $47,000. Yeah, that's a good cause. Yeah, that's a good cause. I'm gonna go. You guys all stay safe, keep rocking. Take care, Zuhair. Good to see you, dude. Have fun. Play that guitar. Have a great time. Have a good weekend, man. Good to see you. I'll catch you next week. Take care of yourself. But yeah, that's the new guitar. And the thing that got me really like surprised here, just the looks of it. I've never seen anything like this guitar. I've seen like similar colors. Like for example, have you guys seen the white Corey Bailu signature V-shaped guitar? I'll show you guys. Corey Bailu Jackson White King V. It's not the same, but it's similar. So it's not like a flame top kind of a thing. I think that's a swamp ash, if I'm not mistaken. The top wood. It kind of reminds me of that, and I've got that guitar. Literally, it's actually sitting right at home. Hold on. It's sitting right back there. Let me bring it for you. Give me a second. Like, why am I showing it to you on Google when I actually got the guitar sitting at home? Give me one quick second. And, come on, baby. Where are you? There you go. One quick second. My apologies. This is like a... Hold on. There we go. There's this baby. And it is in a bit of a... And I gotta restring it. I gotta restring it a little. But can you guys see the pattern? It's kind of similar, but it's not the same. Yeah. I don't know why. Why did I show it to you on Google when I have it at home? All right, let me put this back. But yeah, it reminds me of that guitar a lot for some reason. But this one is not a burst. That's the thing that really grabbed my attention for this guitar. Yeah. Anyways, how are we feeling, man? Twitch. Why is everybody so quiet on Twitch? How's Twitch doing? Twitch. What is happening? But yeah, that's like... Where is this? There we go. Ah, yeah, found it. Perfect. Okay. Sorry, we had a technical difficulty on the Twitch side. But yeah, that was that Kirk Hammett guitar I wanted to show you guys. I got one more guitar on the dockets today that I wanted to show you. Are you ready? Are you ready? Do we have... we had a couple of extreme fans in the house today, right? Talking about Black Sabbath's last performance. Did you guys see this new Nuno guitar? And he rocked it on the stage with the guy from Ghost too. Like, he was killing it with that guitar. Did you guys see that? So Nuno came out with this new guitar on the stage, and he did a teaser of that on his Instagram. Playing the video and warming up on his way to the stage. And everybody got like, I don't know, for some reason, a lot of people lost their minds on it. Betancourt took the stage for a historic event with a Washburn-esque build that flashed a new Nuno logo on the headstock, right? Let me see if I got a photo of it. I'll show it to you guys. So this was the new guitar. Can you guys see? This was the new guitar. And everyone was like, oh, this is like new. This is not in the Washburn sort of like standard lines. And then if you look at the headstock here, let me move myself a little. If you have a look at the headstock, you'll notice that on the headstock, it says Nuno. It doesn't say Washburn. It's not the Washburn logo, right? And everyone's like, oh, what is going on here? Like, is he leaving Washburn? Is he, oh, look at the lady in the red dress. Is he leaving Washburn? Like, what is going on here? And I thought to quickly have a chat about this because I really don't think he is leaving Washburn or anything crazy is going on here. Let me move myself around. And let me bring this back to its normal size, if I can. The magic of live shows, guys. Sorry. There we go. That's more like it. So yeah, I don't think he's leaving Washburn or anything of that nature because there was a few rumors going around, and I talked about that. I talked about the rumors, and I debunked a lot of them. We even checked out the U.S. Patent Office's website to debunk some of the rumors that was going around. So if you guys want to see the full detailing of that, check out the new video I posted a few hours ago, Nuno's mystery guitar at Sabbath show, rumors debunked. Check out that video. I talked about the patent and everything else. But this is the new guitar that was out and people lost their minds on it. If you look at the features of this guitar, the features are identical to any other Washburn N4. So if anybody here is sad that Nuno is leaving Washburn and might doing something different and you all identified with Washburn back in good old days, I don't think you have anything to worry about. Now, Jim said, Jim, you were a Dean artist since 78. Was there like a rivalry between Dean and Washburn at the time? Because I think, if I'm not mistaken, Washburn really got into the electric guitar game like in the 80s. I'd be keen to know, because and again, and Dimebag was, I think, initially with Dean, and then he jumped ship to Washburn, or that design at least did. That'd be interesting to know. But if you look at this guitar, going back to Nuno, the features of this guitar are literally identical to the normal Washburn N4s. So you still got a piece of, the body wood kind of looks like a walnut or black limba. And, Washburn has done a lot of walnut N4s before. You have a single pickup switch, pickup selector on the bottom horn. Again, characteristic of N4, like standard. A volume knob, no tone knob. Floyd with the D-tuner. Bill Lawrence 500 XL pickup. And the shape of that headstock is a Washburn headstock. I'll move myself again. Which is like a reverse Fender headstock kind of a look, right? And if you zoom in on the neck, you'll see that the neck and the headstock is, the wood is bird's eye maple. These are like very standard Washburn features. This is a Washburn guitar. I have a feeling that if this is just a prototype and there may be some rebranding of the Washburn N4, and he's just rocking, taking the prototype on tour with him, on the road with him, so he, can figure the guitar out and give some feedback to Washburn if they're making some tweaks. But I don't really think that he's leaving Washburn or something else is going on. Yeah. It also has the Stevens extended cutaway, for those who are wondering. Which is again, I found it really interesting. Like that he came up with that new guitar, and for some reason everybody just lost their mind. Like I was like, oh, that's a good guitar and it sounds great, and Nuno seems to be, nice and comfy with it on the stage. But yeah, I don't know why a lot of people were like really up in arms about it. So yeah, did you guys see that? what do you guys think? Do you guys think this is something that, you know, is going to indicate that is this something that indicates that Nuno is going to leave Washburn? I'm keen to hear everybody's thoughts here. What do you guys think? Do you think, you know, it's something that is like worthy of attention so much? Like, because I thought like that's just going to be another prototype. That's a Washburn guitar. Or do you have any knowledge of this matter? I'd be keen to hear. Because to be honest with you, I'd be bummed out if Nuno leaves Washburn, right? Because I have 2 Washburn Nuno N4s at home, and like I'm like, oh, okay, so I gotta buy another one now. I don't want it. Like I like Washburn and Nuno. It's been the case like for the past 30 years. It's gonna be a change if he leaves the brand and goes to somewhere else, but I don't think he is. What do you guys think? I'd be keen to hear your thoughts. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, man. But it doesn't look like it's the... Yeah, it doesn't seem to me that it's something new or worthy of attention. But anyways. I think, I have a feeling that we've covered a lot of ground here. I think we did really well today on the stream. Thank you so much, guys, for coming and hanging out. I think I'm gonna call it. I'm gonna call it a night. We've been online for 1 hour 45 minutes, and we've covered a lot. We've covered a lot of stuff, man, today. And thank you so much to Zuhair, Jim, Dorotio, Johnny. You guys came in, and you just made it a lot of fun. So I appreciate you guys doing that. Also, Merciless as well. Came and hung out with us here, and you guys just made this stream a lot of fun. So I really, really appreciated you guys. And with that said, I think we should just call it a day. I think it's time to go and get some sleep. But before I go, thanks again for hanging out. Remember, live life, have a good time. It's the weekend, man. It is the weekend. Pick up that guitar, chill, have a good time, have a drink, be happy. So that's the way to go. Guys, love you. Take care of yourself. And I'll see you on the stream next week. Happy Saturday night. Happy Sunday. Happy weekend! And I'll see you in the next stream. Oh, baby. Take care. And I'll see you next week or in another video. Bye for now.